Hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome to another episode of Fridays Are For Friends. My name's Khallil, and I'm here with an incredible artist, Andi K. You tapped into your culture a lot with this new track. Tell us a little bit about that and what inspired the song.
Yes. What inspired the song was me wanting to really like tap into my culture more. I'm Congolese, Democratic Republic of Congo, and like I normally do like Afro R&B, using the R&B from being born here in ATL and the Afro beats, just with the African rich culture. But it's like I'm Congolese and like I've done a couple songs in the past that I've had like a little bit of French, a little bit Lingala. And this time I was just like, I really want to like dig deep into that because it's a part of me. And the Bina Kotazo is kind of like a saying in general. A lot of like Congolese people use that in their songs, and I was just like, I'm gonna like use this tag and let that be a vibe that all my people can vibe with, and be like, okay, like she's one of us, she's Mwanamboka, and everybody else in Africa as well too. So that was really like just wanting to really use the song to like have a brighter picture of like my culture and who I am.
Yeah, for sure. And you tapped on it a little bit, but I want to dive deeper into you being trilingual. How do you navigate when it comes to creating music? Like, how do you decide, okay, I want
Yeah,
to speak French here, I want to speak
yeah.
English here? Like, what I guess is the determining factor for that?
Well, number one, the vibe. Like, I don't know how to explain this. Sometimes like you say something in a different language, and then when you say in English, it's like not the same. So I'd be like, you know what? It don't matter if this person doesn't understand it. They're gonna feel the vibe. And like, number one, like French was my first language because my mom, when she came here, she couldn't speak English. But then when I went to school, they were like, yeah, no, we can't have this whole bilingual vibe. And so my parents stopped teaching us French, but then she started speaking her native language, which is Lingala. So out of nowhere, like from the movies and the CDs and listening to all the gospel music in Lingala, I just picked all of that up. And now like it just be the vibe, the rhythm of the beats, all of that. That's when I'm just like, okay, you know what? I think I wanna do French here, Lingala here, and then English here. Yeah.
Yeah. And can you tell us about the moment you decided to take music seriously?
Well, my grandmother, shout out to her,
Shout out,
because
Grandma.
her name is Mama Kenge, so my middle name is Kenge. That's why I said Andi K. But basically, she was one of the first Catholic women in Congo that made a whole woman choir group. And at that time, it wasn't really like appropriate for there to be women singing in the choir in the Catholic group. So she did that. We have a lot of organizations and anniversaries for her. And my parents, they always played her tapes for me and everything like that. And unfortunately, she passed away singing on the stage. And throughout my middle school, high school year, I was always doing like orchestra or some choir activity and stuff. And then when I got to college, I was almost done with my degree. Wanted to make sure I honored my parents, and I was just like, okay, now like I really want to like take this seriously and do it. And I think like a couple years before COVID, I was putting out some songs on SoundCloud, and then once COVID hit, everybody was locked up in the house, and I was like, let me get in the studio, put out some good
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
nice, nice. And shout out to your grandmother for inspiring
Yes.
you.
Yes.
It's always nice to have family members be
Hmm.
such a huge impact in your
Hmm.
career, whatever your career is.
Yeah.
And talking about your inspirations, what was the inspiration behind this new project that you're working on?
So, that's like basically like I just want to be in a good mood. And I feel like everybody, with everything that's going on right now, even like back home with the war and also like the injustice stuff that is going on here in America, I just feel like everybody wants to have a time to feel free and dance, feel sultry, and have some moment of vulnerability. And that's what I want my EP to captivate, both mid-tempo vibes and at the same time also funky, uplifting, up rhythmic vibe, because like I like to dance, and that's really what I'm trying to focus on. Let it be a thing where like when people put their headphones on, they get to escape from what's going on here and just really have a great time listening on this beautiful body of work.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
100% agree with you because right now I feel like there's so much music that is low vibrations. And I
Yeah.
just feel like we are in a state and a place where we need just good feeling music. And I remember back then, like the early 2000s, the type of music that was coming out, it just made you feel good, like,
It made you feel
you know.
good.
And that, if we can have at least one escape, and music being that, I feel like it's very important. And music, it has a way of impacting you in all areas. And if the music you listen to and everyone is listening to certain music that makes them feel good is a higher vibration,
Yeah.
then the world, you know, can be healed in some sort of way. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy that you're helping with that for sure.
Trying to, you know, trying to.
Yeah. And where do you see your musical journey headed next?
Yeah, like, I mean, I feel like every artist's dream is to like be in the O2 arena and like sell out tours and stuff. But respectfully, yeah, I would like to have my first headline show here in Atlanta for my people that are here. And then I would love for it to, you know, go around the States, go on tour. I would love to also have an opportunity where my music, I can, if God willing, give back to my community, also back at home. Just finding a way where it's like, thank you for everything you guys are giving me, and I also want to be able to pour it back. But yeah, like I really want to have that breakthrough where I can have my own first headline show and let it be successful, and then eventually have a tour, and we go from there little by little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what challenges have you faced as an Afrobeats artist in Georgia?
Yeah. I feel like it's a safe space.
Yeah,
I
of
feel
course.
like the infrastructure is there's so many talented people here in Atlanta. There's so many talented producers. There's so many talented spaces, but I feel like there's not that much of a structure. So it's kind of hard for like upcoming artists like me that feel like we're talented and want to put in the work and want to be seen, but sometimes, you know, there's no spaces for that, and we're forced to like make our own space, make our own platforms so that people can see us, and like that's also expensive, and fortunately like music ain't cheap, you know. So I feel like that, and then also too, like, you know, being a female, like it's not easy. You know, you want to be taken serious, and unfortunately there's some obstacles when it comes to wanting to be able to perform at a show or wanting to have studio sessions. And I appreciate the people that I work with that respect me and that, you know, create a safe space for me to be able to do what I need to do so we can all win, so we can all record, so I don't have to face a lot of those obstacles that a lot of other, you know, females have to face, unfortunately. But yeah, I feel like I do have hopes for Atlanta, though. I feel like eventually, like, there's going to be a structure where you just know, like, yo, these are the artists here. And if you want to see them, this is where you're going to go to see them. And, you know, because we need that.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Okay? Like, come on.
And once you sell out your headline tour
Amen.
and shows at the O2,
Amen.
be able to give back to your people in your home country, what do you hope that people will take away from you and your music?
Consistency, never giving up. And from the music part, like, just like a moment in time, like like I want you to be able to, every time you hear my song, it takes you back to the first time you heard it and where it is. I can name, like, I feel like we can all name a couple artists where we know, like, when we heard that song that came out in 2010, we know exactly where we were. I want my music to be that. Like, it takes you back to that good moment where you were, whether that was in the car or in the grocery store or the library. Like, that's what I want people to take away from that. And also know that, like, you know, she's just a calm girl that's, you know, staying humble, keeping her head down, and, like, doing her thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And speaking of that, where can people find this incredible music that you have?
Yes. So on Apple Music, Spotify, Audio Mac, Boomplay, what else? Everywhere. TikTok too. You know, TikTok got like the music as well on there, but my music is on all platforms. Ceilings, single just came out, and EP is also coming out very soon.
And what's your name on there too, so they can find you?
Andi K, so that's ANDI space K, and also on IG, Andi K Music, everywhere else too, Twitter and TikTok. Sorry.
No, you're good. That's perfect, because I want people to make sure they find you and get that music that will make them feel good. That's very, very important. So I just want to say thank you so much again for sitting down with us. We really appreciate it. And thank you to our wonderful audience for tuning in to another episode of Fridays Are For Frnds. Peace.
Hello, everybody. Bonjour, bonsoir, tout le monde. My name is Andi K, and thank you for tuning into Fridays Are For Frnds.